Hello, excuse me. Maybe it's only me, but I do not hear you, Nina. Can someone
Same,
else also confirm? Oh, no one.
same. I cannot hear them.
Okay. Then we have an issue with the microphone. Still no here.
Yes, we cannot hear it.
Does it work now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear you. Perfect.
Perfect. So let me start once again. So you probably haven't heard it, but I said that this session is going to be recorded and later on uploaded on our project website. So if you would like not to be on the videos and the recordings, you can use the chat to ask the questions. Yeah, and once again, welcome to the INTERCEPT Open Market Consultations event in English. My name is Nina Czyżewska. I'm the project management officer for the INTERCEPT project. And let me show you what we'll be focusing on today. So first of all, we'll have the introduction to the INTERCEPT project. I will tell you what our objectives are, what we are focusing on as the project. Then my colleague Azra from Corvette, she will talk about the INTERCEPT pre-commercial, what is the pre-commercial procurement. She will introduce you to the methodology. After that, Panayota will present you with the INTERCEPT procurement strategy that we are going to implement in this project. After that, we'll have the presentation of use cases and the needs associated with those use cases and the state of the art, the analysis of the state of the art that we conducted so far. Those presentations will be delivered by Yusuf from DigiInnov. And after that, I will tell you about the objectives of the open market consultations and of the organization of the events that and activities that will have ahead of us. And then we'll have the time for the questions and conclusions. So firstly, about the INTERCEPT project. So the main objective of the project is to enhance the capabilities of law enforcement authorities within the European Union and provide them with a means to safely stop vehicles in a remote manner. And to do so, the INTERCEPT project will identify the technological gaps that need to be addressed to reduce the vulnerabilities and to improve the security of the citizens. And based on the technological analysis, we will identify a security use case, which will later on serve as the ground for the pre-commercial procurement. So as for our goals, firstly, we want to consolidate the demand for innovative security technologies in the European Union. So we want to show that there is more than only one institution that is in need of the same type of technology. So we can show that there is a lot of public procurers who have the same challenges and who would like to see the same solution in the future. Then we would also like to provide a better informed decision making related to investment in innovative security technologies. So we want to make sure that the public procurers have all the knowledge needed to to engage in public procurement. And lastly, we would like to increase the innovation capacity of EU public procurers. who can benefit from the project. So it's not only the partners of the consortium, but also other institutions. So firstly, the law enforcement agencies, which are dealing with the problem of stopping vehicles, but also local authorities, public procurers and contracting authorities, policymakers and legislative authorities, but on the other hand, also industry and technology providers who can benefit from the project by participating in the future PCP and developing the solution. This also goes for the car companies, research organization, and citizens and society. So as you can see, we have a broad range of the end users who can benefit from the project. And on the one hand, we have the end users who can implement the solution, use it to reduce the number of dangerous situation or limit the numbers of pursuits. But on the other side, we have the suppliers like the industry, the research organization who can participate in the future pre-commercial procurement that will be a conclusion of this project, and they can develop their solution. They can come with some innovative technologies that will be later on implemented on the market. As for the project, our team comprises of 11 partners, one associated partners. We're representing 10 countries, and we have diverse range of institutions. We have representatives of ministries and law enforcement agencies from different countries. So as you can see, the need for remote stopping vehicles is shared by a lot of practitioners from the very beginning of the project. But we also have research institutions such as PPHS and CAMEA, and also consulting agency as DG Innov and the expert in innovative procurement, which is Corvers. As for the project frame, we started the project at the beginning of September last year, and it is a 1-year project which will end at the end of August this year. So there is only a few months ahead of us. And how it works. So this is a project founded by the European Union. So we have the coordination and project management and all the activities related to communication, exploitation, and dissemination, which are ongoing throughout the whole project lifetime. Then we decided to also expand the group of end users, not only to limit on the ones that are in consortium, but we also wanted to add additional organizations. That's why we are setting up the user observatory group, which is composed of other end users and security practitioners who are advising us within the project and participating in the project activities. And then we'll be consolidating the group of public buyers who will be going for further PCP. As on the project workflow and what we are doing on the firstly, we analyzed the security practices that are currently ongoing when it comes to stopping vehicles. We looked at different countries, basically on the practitioners that are gathered in the consortium. And after analyzing the security practices that are currently in place, we built security use cases, which are representing the day-to-day activities. Firstly, we had 10 use cases, then we redefined them into 6 use cases. We had first the analysis of the technology that is currently available on the market. We looked at the patents, we looked at the IPRs, but also at the technologies that are currently in the market. And after that, we had the 3 common use cases for which we are conducting the open market consultations. That are the 3 use cases that we are focusing on. And then we will finalize one common security use case, one common challenge for which we would like to prepare the tendering documentation, also the business case, value calculation, And this one common challenge, one use case, which will serve us for defining the future pre-commercial procurement. So this is how the project works like, what we are doing and what we already did. And now we will go more into details on the public procurement and also on the activities that we already performed in the project. So I give the floor to my colleague, Azra.
Thank you very much, Nina. Thank you very much for this nice introduction about the project. And I would like to also welcome you all to this market engagement within the scope of INTERCEPT project. My name is Azra Atalan. I'm a legal consultant working at Corvus Procurement Services, which is a partner in this project, as mentioned by Nina. And now in this section, I'd like to introduce you the pre-commercial procurement approach in this project as an innovation procurement modality. And if can we move to the next slide? Yes, thank you. And here you see the figure. Here I would like to introduce you what we mean by innovation procurement. Innovation procurement takes place when public buyers purchase either the deployment or the deployment of development or the deployment of innovation procurement innovative solutions that are not yet available on the market. And these solutions aim to address mid to long-term needs in public services. It can be about tackling complex challenges in sectors like healthcare, climate change, transport, or security, where existing products simply fall short. And innovation procurement is a step-by-step process. There are different modalities to do innovation procurement. Here you see the figure that represents the overview of the two main phases, which are pre-commercial procurement, or PCP, and public procurement of innovative solutions, or PPI. And as you can see on the left side of the diagram, PCP focuses on R&D, and it begins with phase 0. This is the curiosity-driven research stage. Then it moves through the solution design, prototype development, and original development and testing. And here you see different suppliers. Multiple suppliers can be funded in parallel and are gradually filtered based on performance. You see phase 0. Before doing anything here in this phase, public buyers need to understand the problem they want to solve. And they look at what already exists and see if there are any gaps where innovation is needed. And this is where we understand the maturity of the technology and see if there is room for innovation. Let's say there is. We are a public buyer, a ministry, for example, and we're looking for a solution to stop the cars remotely, for example, as in this project, but the solution is not yet available in the market or not available in the quantity that we need. Then we follow the next phases. Here you see phase 1, the solution design. This is where different suppliers propose ideas and concepts for solving the problem, and the best ones are selected to move forward. And similarly, phase 2, this is prototype development. Suppliers create and test small-scale versions of their solutions, and the successful ones move to the next phase. And this is the phase 3, original development and testing. This phase is to see if the solution is technically feasible. The best prototypes are improved and tested in real-world situations, and this ensures that they are effective and reliable. And once we have the solution is proven, we move to public procurement of innovative solutions, which is PPI. You see as phase 4. This is where the final product is fully deployed. And here, such as the ministry that we give the example, can start purchasing it for large-scale use. And this structured process and step-by-step process reduces risks because it allows public buyers to test and refine solutions before investing heavily. And next slide, please. We mentioned about technology maturity level, right? Now, on this slide, you see the technology readiness levels, which are called TRLs. As we touched in the previous slide, the choice between PCP and PPI depends heavily on how mature the technology is. In other words, we assess the technology readiness level to understand whether we need to develop a new solution or purchase something already available. Here you see this chart starts from TRL 1 all the way up to TRL 9. TRL 1, it's the most basic level, just an observed concept. And from there, it moves through design, lab testing, prototyping, all the way up to TRL 9. TRL 9 is where the solution is fully tested and proven in real-life operational environments. And PCP, typically, when we call PCP, it means the innovations between TRL 3 and TRL 7. And this is the development zone where ideas have left the lab but still need to be built, tested, and refined in practice. So let's take the INTERCEPT challenge as an example. Imagine a company has an early stage concept to remotely stop a moving vehicle using electromagnetic interference. Let's say it's at TRL 2. They may have a theoretical model and a few lab experiments, but they haven't tested it on the road under the real traffic conditions or with safety systems in place. And that's where PCP is useful. It allows them to design a prototype, test it, improve it, and finally validate it in operational settings. PPI, on the other hand, comes into play when the solution is already at TRL 8 or TRL 9. At that point, we are not talking about research and development anymore. The product is market ready. The focus then shifts to scaling and deployment. Then that's when public buyers can act as launch customers. So overall, TRLs help us answer a key question: do we need to support development, or are we ready to procure and implement the solution already? If we move to next slide, we will now focus more closely to the pre-commercial procurement PCP approach. PCP is a tool for developing new solutions that are not yet available on the market, as we said. It allows public buyers to procure research and development services from multiple competing suppliers. And the goal here is not to buy an existing product, but to stimulate the market to create something new, something that meets a specific public need that can't currently be addressed with any existing technologies, with all the functionalities. And what makes PCP different is its competitive and phased structure. Several suppliers are selected to work in parallel. They develop their ideas, build prototypes, and test them step by step. And this gives the contracting authority a chance to compare different approaches, reduce risk, and select the most promising solutions. And now if you look at the graphic on the right, you will see a simple decision flow. If there is a clear innovation gap and nothing on the market meets your needs, then PCP is the right tool. If a suitable product already exists, then we turn to PPI instead. For example, again, in INTERCEPT, public authorities want a technology to remotely stop suspicious vehicles in motion in a safe and controlled manner. And if such a solution doesn't exist yet, maybe we only have a couple conceptual idea or early research models, then we focus on PCP territory. Here, PCP would fund different companies to explore various technical approaches: electromagnetic pulses, non-invasive control interface, or AI-based tracking, etc. But the objective would be to design, test, and validate a new system that could eventually be used by law enforcement. Contrast that, if a remote stopping system already exists and just needs to be rolled out widely, then PPI would be used to buy and deploy it. In short, PCP is about pushing innovation forward. It's about co-creating new technologies within the market to solve the public challenge. And that's currently what we are doing in the INTERCEPT project. If you move to next slide, I would like to show you this innovation procurement phases and the methodology that we use in INTERCEPT. We are currently here, you see, we are currently in phase 0, which includes activities like the state-of-the-art analysis, open market consultation. This is where we are and what we're doing right now, and the definition of a joint procurement agreement. These preparatory steps are crucial to building a robust PCP tender later on. But the methodology we use is based on the EFF framework and the previous experience of the lead procurer, Kimea. Our goal is to develop a clear common challenge informed by a combination of gap analysis, expert input, and structured stakeholder engagement. After INTERCEPT concludes, the follow-up PCP project will proceed with the 3 phases: solution design, prototype development, and operational validation. This is similarly what we have just seen in the previous slides, and you see it on the right side of this figure. Each phase will further narrow down the number of suppliers based on the performance. And here you see at the bottom the link to Insight that contains the methodology and all the relevant explanations of INTERCEPT. Please also feel free to visit it, get link for more information, and I can also put it in the chat. And if we move to next slide, I would like to, with a closer look at the PCP phases. We begin with the preparatory stage, which is where INTERCEPT is currently positioned right now. This involves understanding end user needs and evaluating what the market has to offer. And after that, we move into the tendering phase, where we officially invite suppliers to submit proposals. And the PCP itself consists of 3 competitive phases. Phase 1, where up to 6 suppliers develop conceptual designs, and phase 2, where 4 of them build prototypes, and phase 3, where only 2 move on to operational testing and real-world environments. And it is important also for competition, having more than 1 at the last stage. So if we move to next slide, in this slides, we highlight how INTERCEPT supports both end users and industry players. For end users, the main benefit is gaining access to high-quality products at a lower price. These products are developed through a competitive EU-funded process. For industry players, the benefit lies in the opportunity to develop innovations. It's also a chance to grow your company by entering a new market with real demand. And regarding the involvement, you see in the second row, end users are engaged through the user observatory group and the public buyers group. These groups help shape the needs and ensure the solutions meet real-world demands. And industry players get involved through the open market consultation. This includes call for interest and matchmaking activities to explore partnership and share ideas. And the contribution, end users contribute by supporting the project and helping to define the needs for future procurement. And for end users, they contribute by responding to the INTERCEPT security challenge, bringing in their expertise and creativity. And next, expertise for end users. This means knowledge and practical input about how to stop vehicles remotely, safely, and effectively. And industry players bring their technical expertise to develop innovative security solutions that could meet these needs. And last but not least, the support for end users. Support is provided through the UOG, which covers meeting participation, also through the public buyers group, which may lead to joining the actual PCP project later. And for industry partners, there is the possibility of becoming a contractor in the PCP project. That means access to funding, collaboration, and future business opportunities. So as you can see, this is not just theoretical, it's also a collaborative and practical opportunity for both sides to shape the future of security solutions in Europe. If you move to next slide, I would like to show you lastly the 3 main steps in the tendering phase of a PCP. Let's say we have seen the innovation modality and how PCP places in that modality and how it is followed by a PPI. But now, how do we do PCP? I divided here in 3 main steps. First one is publication and transparency. Here we started by publishing a contract notice. This is the official announcement that marks the beginning of the PCP tendering process. And the notice helps us create awareness about the PCP opportunity, give suppliers enough time to prepare and submit their offers, and ensure we are using standard templates such as e-notices for clarity and consistency. So this is the same for everyone. So we also publish a call for tenders with all necessary documents, and we make sure to provide clarifications to potential tenders if they have any questions. When we move to step 2, this is about submission of tenders, evaluation, and contract award. Once the tenders are submitted, we start the evaluation. We check whether the suppliers meet the eligibility and exclusion criteria, then evaluate the technical and financial quality of the proposal based on the predefined award criteria, and next we award the contracts. And this includes a framework agreement for all phases and a specific contract for phase 1 of PCP. And finally, we notify all bidders and publish the contract award notice regarding these steps in awarding the contract. And the last step, execution of the contract. After the award, we manage and monitor the execution carefully. At the end of each phase, we do a performance evaluation. This helps decide if the contractor moves on to the next phase. We also here issue payments, conduct a call-off, meaning we select the suppliers who will continue to the next phase, and handle any necessary contract modifications or penalties. And we finally close the contract once the PCP is completed. So this is how we conduct the PCP phase in INTERCEPT project. And also, one more note, of course, we didn't put it here, but throughout this, we follow a detailed EFIP step-by-step methodology. You can also find the detailed information about that and how it aligns with the INTERCEPT methodology in our insight that I will going to put the chat soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Azra, for the clear presentation on what is the pre-commercial procurement and how we are using this methodology in the project. So now we can move to the next presentation, where we will see the procurement strategy that will be used in the project. So Panayota, the floor is yours.
Nina, hello.
It's going to be Eleni. Okay.
Sorry?
So it's going to be Eleni presenting
yes,
the
I think Panayota has a connection problem. So hello, everyone. I would also like to welcome you to this webinar. My name is Eleni Lianou. I work for KEMEA, the lead procurer of the INTERCEPT project, and I'm a research associate and legal advisor. So my presentation will deal with the procurement strategy. Actually, what we are planning and how we are planning to set up our procurement strategy before launching the PCP, the PCP that my colleague Astra has already explained to you. So if we start with the first slide, the procurement strategy actually is divided in several aspects. All of them are going to be, of course, included in the tender documents. The first and important aspect is, of course, the detailed definition of the major aspects of the R&D procurement based on the results of the OMC that we are now conducting. Of course, another aspect is the tendering process, including any issues related to IPRs. Another aspect is the evaluation strategy, is this a strategy that we are going to actually define for the solutions developed during the PCP phases of the whole PCP process. The PCP requirements, what is actually needed for the interested suppliers to submit, and of course what they need to present in their technical and financial offers. The legal framework, as I mentioned in the beginning, we as KEMEA, we are and we will be the lead procurer. So the whole legal framework will be based, of course, on the European Commission notice, the procurement directives were applicable, and of course the Greek legal framework on public procurement. And last but not least, the strategy will define, of course, the PCP-phased approach, as already previously described, along with the procurement process and approach, as well the whole evaluation and contracting approach. So as we are actually defining and describing our procurement strategy, and please, next slide, please, we need to first finalize the joint procurement procedure. And when I say we, mainly I mean the public buyers, the interested public buyers that are going to form the buyers group. So before launching any call, we will have a joint procurement process, and this process, of course, will not include any state aid. This process shall be set up in accordance with the provision of the state aid framework for R&D and I. This process will also be described in accordance with the provisions of the EC governing PCP, such as the communication of 2007, and of course all other relative and respective legal documents, and of course we'll support it by Horizon 20 Europe grants as described in the work program. Moreover, this joint procurement process will be governed by the lead procurer's legal framework, which is the Greek law of 2016, along with its modification in 2021. The next, of course, aspect that the joint procurement procedure will consist of will be the tenders, and will be actually designed, and the tenders shall be evaluated according to the rules as set out in the joint procurement agreement, in such a way, of course, to be compliant to comply with the EU Treaty principles. And of course, respecting the EU Treaty principles of non-discrimination, transparency, and equal treatment. And of course, lastly, the detailed contract and PCP conditions will be also shall be made known to all potential interest in PCP tenders throughout the tender documents well in advance, in order to ensure equal opportunities to participate for every interested supplier to participate in the joint procurement procedure via, of course, the usual communication channels for public procurement, as the notices and of course the procurement platforms of the lead procurer and the buyers group. Next slide, please. Thank you. As my colleague Athra already explained to you, the PCP is actually a phased approach, and this approach will be also followed by the future INTERCEPT PCP. As of course, this model is described by the EU EC communication of 2007, actually aiming at conducting R&D services up to the development of a limited volume of first products. So based on this approach and this model, the INTERCEPT PCP will be divided into 3 phases. Each phase will result in competition between the tenderers in such way that the number of tenderers will be decreased from one phase to the next one, and this way will be ensured that the selection of those will be in this way, and of course it will be. We will ensure that the selection that those that best address the technical challenge will be selected. The 3 phases that the future INTERCEPT PCP will be divided will be phase 1, of course, the solution design, phase 2, where we will foresee the prototype development and implementation, and the phase 3, where the validation demonstration of the solutions will be implemented and of course evaluated by the buyers group to see whether suppliers will be able to satisfactorily and successfully complete the set phase. Of course, in order to proceed with the procurement, we need to choose and to define the procurement procedure. In a PCP, we may choose any adequate and suitable procurement procedure. Either it will be the open procedure, the restricted, the competitive negotiated process, or the competitive dialogue. This will be, of course, set in our procurement strategy and will be, of course, further detailed and defined in the tender documents. Actually, based, of course, on the AFIP methodology and our experience, we usually use the open process in order to give the chance to anyone interested and to submit a tender, to submit a full tender, and this is the reason why this process is used most frequently. The next slide, please. Of course, our procurement process will be divided in two stages, the preparation stage, and then in the next slide, I will give you more details on the implementation stage. So during the preparation stage, public procurers will agree in writing on their internal procedures as these will be defined in a joint PCP procurement agreement. We will conduct the open market consultation. This is also a part of this process as, let's say, preparatory stage for the procurement process. The open market consultation has been already published in the official journal of the European Union. It will be republished once we will we will implement the future INTERCEPT PCP. And of course, we will prepare the common tender specifications. If we see the next slide, where we will have actually the next stage, the procurement tendering stage, a contract notice will of course mark this stage where it will of course publish again by the lead procurer in the official journal of the European Union. It will specify that the procurement concerns a PCP as exempted by the procurement directives of 2014, 4 and 14. It will specify a time limit for reception of tenders, which is expected to be at least 2 months, in order to give to the market enough time to prepare full and, of course, remarkable tenders, technical and financial offers. It will allow for the submission of tenders in English. It will be promoted in the best way, widely promoted and advertised, and of course it will indicate how potential tenderers can obtain the call for tenders and for more information on the provisions related to our procurement. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. So as we mentioned, everything will start with the call for tenders. Once we will define the and we will decide on the PCP. So the call for tenders will take, of course, into consideration the findings of the open market consultation, the engagement of the market, the dialogue that we have and we will conduct with the market, and of course we will describe the common challenge using functional and performance-based specifications, always in line with the requirements defined by the project. The call for tenders also will describe the process for the evaluation and the selection of the tenders for the first PCP phase, and of course the next phases that will follow, the intermediate evaluations for each following PCP phase, in order to see how we will actually monitor and evaluate the progress of every supplier. The minimum requirements that subcontractors must comply with during the PCP, and the arrangements for IPRs, confidentiality, publicity, and the applicable law and dispute settlement. And as of the engagement of the public buyers before the deadline of to deliver the tenders, public buyers will be engaged in supporting the potential contractors, namely by organizing info seminars such as this one, and of course others will also follow during the this project and eventually the future INTERCEPT PCP project. Info webinars, and of course we will always be available to answer any questions related to the whole process, to the PCP, and of course the call for tenders. And going to the next slide, please. Yeah, and before, of course, closing my presentation, I would like just to give you a view on two other aspects of the procurement methodology. This will be, of course, the evaluation approach and the contracting approach. The evaluation approach will be also the whole, the terms and conditions set by the procurers in the joint procurement agreement regarding how we are going, and based on which criteria we are going to evaluate tenderers in the tenders, in the submission during the submission of tenders phase, and of course how we are going to evaluate contractors during regarding their progress during the implementation of each PCP phase. And another aspect will also be, of course, the contracting approach, the signature of the framework agreement with the terms and conditions applicable, the signing of the its PCP phase contract, and of course how we are going to monitor the actual implementation, and whether suppliers or contractors in the specific case actually implement what they have already included in the technical offer, and whether their tasks and the work done is in line with the framework agreement, the call for tenders, the framework agreement, and the phase contracts. So I think that was all from my side. Thank you very much all for your attention, and the floor is to my colleague Youssef for the presentation of the use cases and associated needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eleni, for presenting the procurement strategy that we are going to use in the INTERCEPT project. And now with the use cases, Youssef, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. So I will be asking you to move the slide. So I will be presenting actually exactly what's we would like to solve in terms of problems, and which are the technologies that we are looking for. So first of all, thanks to my colleagues who presented all the framework, how the work is organized, and which will be the main steps, and which are the methodology that we are applying. So the next slides I will be presenting to you exactly what we have been doing in order to clarify exactly our needs, starting from the problems, the gaps that exist on the day-to-day activities of the end users, and what we're doing towards the definition of the final requirements. So as you can see here, at the beginning, we started with conducting several workshops between the different police forces in Europe in order to identify altogether the common, let's say, threats and the vulnerabilities that exist around Europe. We identified the gaps to address within the INTERCEPT project, and also we did a definition of the basis to use for security use cases elaboration, so that we guided all the law enforcement in this activity. After that, all the LEAs, based on their, let's say, national or member state needs, they were given time in order to develop 3 different security use cases, defining the different, let's say, situations where they need some new technologies in order to stop remotely the vehicles. And also in this activity, they were given specific templates that in order to detail all the aspects of the use cases. After that, we gathered together also another time, and we started working on let's say each law enforcement provided a description and the explanation of the details of each use case to the other member states. And also we conducted a series of discussions in order to agree on a common, let's say, way of giving priority to the use cases. So it was a specific workshop where also the partners has provided their evaluations, their voting to the use cases according to their interests. And based on that, we found out that there are a lot of similarities, a lot of common needs across Europe, which of course have been depicted in the listing of the different use cases. So in the next slide, as you can see here, we have started with the 16 or 17 use cases that were general, and then they were merged based on some criteria into 10 use cases. And as you can see here, we have identified the situations where we have high-speed pursuit following an INPR alert. Also another situation, which is vehicle ramming attack in a public market or in a crowded place. Another one which is dealing with a different vehicle type. We're talking about large coach with the distressed driver. Here we're having the fourth use case, high-speed pursuit after vehicle theft. Also another one related to the refusal to comply with at a DUI checkpoint. Also, there are other use cases, for example, where there is some protest or some mass events, and the vehicle, they have, let's say, made a breach to the security perimeter. We're also having some even severe situations where hostage taken are there, and the vehicle is there is some vehicle ramming in order to escape to the police stop. Other situations related to criminal activities like smuggling operations in coastal city. High-speed pursuits in urban surveillance also presented other, let's say, kinds of situations that needs to be analyzed, and also the organized crime that are using high speed or high power motorcycles or e-bikes in a urban area. Based on this initial list, of course, we know that our INTERCEPT projects and the scope of the project, the type of action, and any available budget will not allow us to cover all the use cases. So it was clear in mind from the beginning that we needed to, let's say, give a focus to the project. And the idea was started by defining, as we said, several use cases. We moved to 10 use cases, and based on the, let's say, prioritization of end users, the identified operational gaps, the shared priorities, we moved from 10 to 6 use cases. Those ones are the, let's say, the top rated one, which represent a high priority for end users. And this is, of course, a work that is going on because the objective of INTERCEPT is to define one common challenge based on which that gather most of the requirements. Of course, some of them will not be put due to that they cannot be covered within the project, but hopefully by the end of INTERCEPT project would like to define one common challenge, and based on which we will extract all the requirements that will be submitted to the, let's say, to the technology providers. Next slide. So this is what I said. So based on the 6 consolidated use cases, the work coordinated the extraction of relevant functional and non-functional requirements. The list of requirements related to different, let's say, steps of the process, the detection, decision-making, the remote stopping technologies, the communication between the different forces, the situational awareness, safety, the legal compliance, and technical constraints were defined in this list of requirements. And the police forces, they were given these requirements in order to provide their prioritization and also integrate them with the additional requirements. And based on this, further refinement for 3 most representative use cases has been done. And of course, now it's available. We are at the stage of the 3 use cases. Next slide. So this is, of course, more details will be provided anyway under the open market consultations, but we have, let's say, tried to refine the use cases, merge them where possible. And as you can see from the different 3 main descriptions, we have the use case 1, complex street and pursuit scenario by car vehicle, sorry. The second one is a urban, sorry, in the meanwhile. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay, sorry,
Yes.
because I had an interruption. The second use case, it's urban agile traits involving high-powered motorcycles. And the third one is distressed driver operating at large passenger coach. Beyond the description that you see, the detailed one, and where it is, let's say, the scenario description, here we see that we are going towards three main types of vehicles due to the different, let's say, distant technologies among them behind. So we expect that the solutions will vary distinctly from based on the type of vehicle that the police forces they are trying to stop. So we're talking about a car, a motorcycle, or a large passenger coach. So it's a bus which has different characteristics. Next slide, please. Also, with regards to the requirements that will be also submitted during the open market consultations, and based on which we did the prioritization, as you can see, we didn't focus only on the pure technology that will stop the vehicle, which is of course the core of INTERCEPT projects. But as you can imagine, different solutions, they will require different, let's say, integration with existing systems or any additional systems. So we have divided the requirements based on the first one, which is the detection of the threat or the situation, the incident. And after that, there are specific, let's say, features requirements, technical and non-technical requirements dealing with what needs to be done before the incident, during the incident, and also after the incident, in other once the car is stopped. Also, we have environmental adaptation, means that interaction with the other stakeholders normally that are involved in this incident. The coordination with the different forces, especially when you imagine that we have identified use cases where there are cross-border pursuits, and there will be a coordination between different police forces from different countries. And also, of course, we need to consider also some legal and regulatory aspects that needs to be taken into consideration, and other requirements that have been identified. So there will be a full, let's say, description and sharing of these requirements, based on which, of course, we would like to start talking with the market, with the technology providers, to understand of course, the feasibility of developing all the requirements of some of them in order to reach our objectives. Next slide, please. Yeah, I guess that one was my last slide, and I will give the floor to the colleagues from Corvus to present the state of the art.
Okay. Well, actually, use of it was in the agenda that it will be your presentation, but if you would like, I can just take over the presentation.
Okay. Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah, so as you saw, like we analyzed the current situations, we looked at what is available, like what are the needs of law enforcement agencies. We created the use cases, which were representative of the current needs. And using based on the use cases, we looked at the state of the art. So we analyzed the technologies, the patents, the standards that are currently available when it comes to the three use cases. And here you can see the results for of the patent search for each of the use cases. So as for the results of what we did, like our colleagues from Corvus, they looked at the use cases. They used their tool to search for the patents. They used different keywords that were representative for each of the use cases, and they came with a long list of patents and standards, which were later shortlisted to show the most relevant for our use cases. And as you can see, here are the results for use case number 1. So first of all, we have RFID tags to track vehicles. We have cloud-based communication platforms to ensure cross-border tracking and coordination, emergency vehicle prioritization and real-time location sharing, real-time vehicle identification and coordination with law enforcement, video and audio analytics for detecting suspicious or crime behavior, actually also patents for behavioral pattern recognitions to identify criminal activity or dangerous driving behavior. First, sensing systems such as INPR, RFID, facial recognition that will allow to identify the object at a known location, and a second sensing system to allow tracking the object over a wider area. We also have patents for traffic model to convert raw data sensors into vehicle trajectory information, such as the speed of the car, idling time, acceleration patterns, also patterns such as for a device designed to stop an approaching vehicle by defaulting its tires. So it's using spike system to punctuate the tires and make them deflate and then stop the vehicle. And based on the patterns, we also identified some technologies that can respond to the first use case. And here we have automatic number plate recognitions. We have autonomous driving and control system, emergency stop systems, vehicle to device communication, sensing and tracking infrastructure, character recognition, which extracts the alphabetic numbers from the plate image. We also have technologies based on artificial intelligence, which are core engine for automation and decision making. And lastly, on-demand roadway stepwards system, which will dynamically deploys monitoring and efficient function in urban areas. The same thing was done for the use case number 2. So once again, the use case was analyzed. We extracted the keywords, which were later used to search for patents. And here you can see the shortlisted patents for use case 2. And here we have a multi-camera drone surveillance with thermal image for real-time vehicle detection. We also have real-time tracking of high-risk or unauthorized vehicles in border zones, highways, and restricted areas, which utilizes AI, camera sensors, and internal sensors to detect unusual traffic events. Also, we have patents for identifying reckless driving, vehicle malfunction, and external factors affecting traffic incidents, analyzing high-risk vehicle behaviors, and alerting law enforcement about the alerts in real time. We have patents focused on identifying violations such as extensive speeding, illegal lane changes, and reckless driving, which can be key indicator of criminal intent. Also, helping track vehicles involved in violations and intervene before the incident escalates. Also systems that includes a graphical user interface for triggering alerts based on real-time drone observations. We also have patents enabling the centralized coordination of numerous drones, making it suitable for large-scale or complex operations on complex environments. And lastly, analytical recognition systems that work with multiple camera types, including fixed traffic cameras and also the drone cameras. And based on the patents, we managed to identify some technologies that can respond to the use case number 2. And over here, we have monitor control units, emergency event detection, drone-based situation communication, data analytics and decision-making algorithms, real-time communication, ultra-wideband use for precise distance measurement and spatial awareness, network communication, which facilitates data exchange between the between the drones, the user devices, and remote systems. We also had automated drone deployment, which is a drone in infrastructure to imagine the incident area based on the computed coordination. And lastly, real-time video streaming, with live footage from both the fixed cameras and also the drones, which is displayed to the operator. And lastly, the same process was done for the use case number 3. So once again, we analyzed the patterns, and from that we extracted the technologies. So for the patents for use case number 3, we shortlisted the AI-assisted vehicle deceleration and emergency stop system, real-time monitoring of data of driver state and the vehicle's speed, automatic emergency stop and deceleration option for hazardous situation that works for autonomous and manually driven vehicles, patents which enable non-lethal vehicle stopping, which are ideal for hazardous or high-risk vehicle intervention. Then we had remote monitoring of vehicle and of the speed control, secure stopping methods for high-risk vehicles in critical zones. We also have patents focused on sensors used to detect the driver's presence and continuously monitoring their physiological state, which allows safe mode stop upon detecting driver incapability. The system initiates a safe stop maneuvers. So when it's detected that the psychological state of the driver needs the stop, then the system automatically does it. We have patents which focus on emergency stop system that can receive signals from non-driving users which are in the vehicle, and if the requested number of if the required number of signals is received in one time, then the vehicle immediately is taken to stop or slow down. And lastly, we have safe mode stop. Upon detecting the driver incapability, the system initiates the safe stop maneuver. And from the results of the patent search, we shortlisted the technologies which are autonomous emergency stop execution, target vehicle identification, remote monitoring of vehicle operations, behavioral pattern recognitions, driver monitoring system, and remote control enablement. So this were the results of what we were doing in the projects, based on the one hand, identification of the needs when it comes to stopping vehicles remotely, also to preparing the use cases which are presenting the situations that the end users are facing every day, and shortlisting the requirements that the technology that will be developed in the future should address. But also, on the other hand, we looked at the market on what is available, and from this, as you saw, we had the list of the patents and list of the technologies that can answer to each of the use cases. They are not the complete solution that answers the use cases, but they're addressing part of the challenge. And now I would like to introduce you to the open market consultations, the main objectives, why we are organizing it, and all the activities that are still ahead of us. So first of all, what is an open market consultation? Well, before launching the procurement procedure, the contracting authorities may want to conduct open market consultations with a view to prepare for the future pre-commercial procurement. And in essence, the open market consultation is an open dialogue between the procurers and the market, in which the procurers can ask the view of the market to identify whether there is the capacity of the market to answer the needs of the procurers. So why do we conduct the open market consultations? First of all, the OMC bridges the gap between the supply and the demand side. The suppliers are informed well in advance about the needs and the expectation of the public procurers. And the procurers, on the other hand, are informed about what the market can offer. They can have an insight into the supply chain, which gives them the view on the European resilience and autonomy. And as the procurers. We can cross-check the results of the prior state-of-the-art analysis and the APR search, analyze the standards landscape. We can also ask the market their opinion on the key contractual setup and the conditions of the future procurement, whether what we are planning in terms of budgetary limitations and about the time, if it's feasible, and generally about the project feasibility, about what we are intend to receive is feasible and doable by the market. And for the suppliers, they are informed about the public procurer's need well in advance, giving them the time to prepare for the future PCP, to form consortia if it is needed. And when it comes to the objectives of the open market consultations, firstly, it is to validate the findings of the state-of-the-art analysis and to discuss the possible how the technologies and the financial provisions can fit the future PCP. It is also to raise awareness of the industry and the relevant stakeholders, including also end users, regarding the upcoming PCP, giving them enough time to, first of all, for the technology providers to prepare, but also for the end users to, if they want to join the tender. And most importantly, to collect insight from the industry and relevant stakeholders to fine-tune the specifications of the future tender to see which parts are feasible, which can be changed or adjusted. We will also have e-pitching sessions during the open market consultations, and those are short sessions. There are preparatory activities in the open market consultations, virtual meetings, where the suppliers can showcase to public buyers their solutions and how it can answer to the challenges. Those sessions are limited to only the consortium and one public and one technology provider. So the information that is shared and presented by the technology provider is not disseminated further than to the consortium. And the purpose of the e-pitching session is to, first of all, facilitate early engagement between the public procurers and the market to identify the innovative solution that can meet the needs of the public procurers and to encourage competition and transparency in the procurement process. So how does the e-pitching session work? First of all, we have the preparation step where public procurers define the specific challenges and communicate them with potential suppliers. So those are the 3 use cases that we have identified and were presented to you today. Then the suppliers can prepare their presentations on how they are going to answer these challenges. After that, we have the presentation step. So each supplier is allocated a specific time slot to present their solution. And the presentations will start with an overview of the economic operator. Then they will focus on the existing solution that can address the challenge, on the research and development efforts that can be further used to develop the solutions, and the alignment with the procurer's needs. After that, we'll have a Q&A session where public procurers and other stakeholders can ask questions to the supplier to better understand the solution. And after that, there is a follow-up action where the procurers may inform the suppliers on the future procurement plan, and discussion may lead to further engagement or bilateral meetings. So here you can see the timeline of all the OMC activities that we have in the INTERCEPT project. So first of all, on the 3rd of March, we published a prior publication notice on the TED platform announcing that we will host the open market consultations. On the 7th of April, we published the open market consultation document on the project website. And the document details in all the activities that will be conducted in the project. like during, not in the project, but during the open market consultation, so you can check on like the basic information on how the OMC will look like. We also published the RFI questionnaires in two versions, one for technology providers and the other one for the end users. And the RFI questionnaires ask the questions about the challenges, the future PCP, the technologies, but I will get to that a little bit later on. And then we have the series of open market consultation webinars, which are running from the 9th until the 15th of May. On the 23rd of May is the deadline for submitting the question, to responding to the RFI questionnaire. And 1 week after, on the 30th of May, we'll publish the preliminary results of the open market consultations and the findings from the webinars. Then we'll have e-pitching sessions between the 3rd and 5th of June, where the technology providers will be able to present their solutions. After that, we'll have the central event on the 25th of June in Warsaw, which will be in hybrid form. And on 4th of July, we'll publish the findings of the OMC activities, including the questions and the answers to the questionnaire. And this will be also the date of the closure of the OMC events. Here you can see the milestones. So first of all, as I mentioned, we had the prior information notice published, then the open market consultation document. Here you can find also the links to all these documents. Then we had the RFI questionnaire, both for the end users and for the technology providers, the OMC webinars, which are now ongoing in different languages, and then the findings will be published in an anonymized way. So it will also be just general results from all the activities that we are carrying on. And now I would like to tell you about the RFI questionnaire. So as I mentioned, it is divided in two sections. One is for the technology providers, one is for the end users. Here you have the QR code to access the questionnaire for technology providers, and I would like to invite you to use your mobiles to scan the QR code and access the questionnaire right now. You can start, just access the questionnaire right now and answer some parts of the questionnaire and then come back later to it, but it has to be completed until the 23rd of May. And I would like to shortly present you with the main questions that we'll be asking in the questionnaire. So the first part focuses on company profile, so the name of the organization, the contact details, type of organizations. Then we are asking questions about PCP challenge and requirements, such as information on existing technology solutions that are relevant to remote and stepping of vehicles, indication on whether the solutions have been deployed or are under development, description of key technical functionalities and performance focus areas such as tracking, utilization, communication systems. Then we are asking about safety mechanism and fail-safe features to prevent collateral damage, identification of potential technological or operational barriers to the implementation of the solution, estimated development timeline and budget per phase of the future PCP. Then we're also asking about operational limitations in specific environments such as tunnels, cities, or other areas, and suitability of the solution for different vehicle types, because as you saw, we will be addressing cars, trucks, e-bikes, and so on. Then in the third section, we are asking about state-of-the-art analysis. So first of all, we have the assessment of whether further technological development is possible beyond the current solution, about the identification of the technology readiness level for each of the use cases, description of innovative aspects of the proposed solution compared to the current state-of-the-art technologies, information of the user of patented technologies and technological standard, identification of potential intellectual property barriers that may limit the development of and deployment of the solution. And then we have other questions such as information still needed to plan the solution development or implementation, specific technical or operational requirements that need to be considered, and risk associated with developing and implementing the solution. And then we also have the RFI questionnaires directed towards the end user. So here's once again, you have the QR code where you can access the questionnaire. It's the same case, so you can access the questionnaire right now and then answer to it a little bit later on, and you can save the drafts and complete it by the 23rd of May. So once again, I encourage you to scan the QR codes now and then respond to the questions. And here once again, we have the questions. So first, we are asking the users about their organization profile, so what organization, the contact details. The second section focuses on the operational needs and gaps. So frequency of high-risk vehicle situation in their daily operation. We are asking the end users to rank the 6 use cases based on the relevance and about information on existing tools and methodologies that are currently used by the end users. Then in the third section, we have questions on technical expectations and constraints. So we are asking end users to identify the 3 most important technological requirements for remote stopping of vehicles, specification on key environments where tests would be most relevant. So it's whether it's urban areas, rural areas, channels during some kind of events, about the preferred level of automation of vehicle stopping systems, so whether it should be completely autonomous or a manual control. Then we're asking questions about communication and integration requirements based on national and EU framework. Then in the fourth part of the questionnaire, we are focusing on legal, ethical, and societal considerations. Here are the questions about legal and regulatory limitations that might restrict the deployment of the solution, about ethical concerns such as misuse of the technology, data privacy, and so on. And then expectations of ensuring transparency and accountability in the case of using this future solution. And lastly, the fifth section is focused on feasibility, procurement, and testing. So here we are asking end users if they are willing to participate in the pilots, in the field testing of the future solution, whether they need some formal certification or third-party validation to further adoption of the solution, about budgetary and procurement constraints that may impact their involvement in the future PCP. And lastly, we're asking about the input on and suggestions related to the preparation of the tender and the technical specifications. So once again, the deadline for submitting the questionnaire is on the 23rd of May. You also can find the links to access each of the surveys in the chat. My colleague Azra just uploaded them over there. And we would kindly ask you to fill the surveys because they will help us very much in adjusting the tender, in adjusting the future PCP. So it will be both more representative for the end users to what they actually need from the future solution, but also from the technology side. So the technology providers will be able to meet the needs of the public procurers and of the INTERCEPT project, and that the requirements that we pose in the tender will be feasible. So this is all from my side. And thank you very much for participating in this webinar. And now, if you have any questions, we are happy to answer them. You can use the chat or just raise your hand and ask the questions here. Okay. So in the meantime, I would still like to invite you, if you haven't done it, to register for the e-pitching session. It's the same link that you used for registering for the webinar. If you registered for the e-pitching session and the main event in Warsaw, then your registration is already recorded. But if you haven't and you change your mind and would like to participate, then there is also a time to register for those events as well. Okay. I don't see any questions. There is also the possibility to ask us questions via emails if something comes to your mind after the webinar. So yeah, this is also a possibility. Okay, yeah, I see that there is one question coming up. So the question is, we have existing vehicle stopping solutions, but they are not remote yet. We are currently already stated research and development to make it remote. Do we need to apply for the RFI with the existing system or for the new development? So Azra, maybe you can answer regarding the RFI.
Yes, regarding the if you could click the links, you will see in the RFI that we are asking. We have 6 use cases, and we are asking TRL levels and solutions. And currently, if you have any patents for each of them, so you will find a lot of boxes or questions or places, empty boxes for you to explain it. So if you could simply provide us this information, this will be all evaluated and assessed by the project team, of course. And then we will reach out to companies for further steps if needed, and then the next steps will follow. But at this stage, since we do not know the TRL level, that what kind of solution you're having and at what level or how much room there is for R&D development. So we will need to collect all this information. And yes, you still need to fill out the RFI questionnaire. It would be so helpful also for us.
Yeah, if I may add that there are questions about the existing technologies that you already have, but also about the research and development section. So you can put part of the answer on what you have in what you already have, like in this section, and on what you are planning to do and you're developing in the section on on further improvements. Okay. I see that there is more typing.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, my name is Stuart Guy from Teledyne in the UK. A question I have regarding sending information, 2 parts. One, when we submit anything to you, is it confidentially within your group looking at it, or is it then going to be shared to the wider community?
If I may, it is absolutely confidential, but of course, our project partners will have access to the response that you are going to submit. But when we publish the reports, OEMC report, including all the findings from every company,
Okay.
every suppliers, it will be confidential and anonymized. So it will not be including any information regarding your technology, your company name, or your patents are, they are also available in the databases.
Sure.
So to somewhat, we can, to some extent, we can still give details about patents since they are available. But if you could kindly let us know, since this information is strictly confidential, I don't want it to be even anonymized anywhere. So this is just something that I'm telling to you. If you put it in the RFI questionnaire, then this will be treated that way.
Okay, because the other part I have is there are technology that we potentially could offer to some of your user cases. Under the UK government, it's also export controlled technology, and so the information is export controlled. So I have a certain amount that I can share in the public domain, but the more technical detail is export controlled, and I have to apply for an export license from the UK government. But then that specifically, I have to list who is then receiving that information. So if that's particularly an organisation within one country, that's fine. But obviously, if it's shared multinationally, it becomes a little bit more complex in the application of what I'm doing, of who's receiving it and who's sending it. So some of our responses will possibly be top level public domain, and then if further detail is required, I will have to seek UK government export agreement.
Okay, clear. Well, what you can do, you can also share the information that you can share, you feel comfortable with sharing through our RFI questionnaire. And if we need further information, we can reach out to you. We can ask for further details.
Okay,
technical
fantastic.
Details is, I of course don't know about the specific case, what we are talking about right now, but for technical information, we hardly need it. So, yeah.
Okay, so that, because obviously, if that technical, I can imagine, comes later in the process, then we can sort of list which parts we can cover now and which parts need that approval, and then at least everybody's aware. It's not we're trying to hide or be difficult, it's just we are constrained by our rules from the government. Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Thomas. I've also a question, if that's still possible. For the remote vehicle stopping systems, what's the definition of remote? Because I saw in the document that some tools are already like researched, and they are remote deployed, but there was written down there is an officer needed. So then it's in certain circumstances, it's not really remote. Do you need? Yeah, what's the definition of remote? Is like a remote control system? It's remote useful to be deployed, but you need somebody to install the equipment before. So what's the definition?
Yeah, so we are still working on defining the exact requirements, but in the first thing what we thought, like, it's remote stopping, so it will not need an the intervention from the police forces, like physical intervention. So we would like to avoid stopping vehicles by roaming into vehicles with police vehicles, for example, and would like this car would like to be stopped without using of like physical force or the spike systems that are used right now. Hope this can answer your question.
Yeah, you're saying that the existing spike systems is not something you're looking for.
Yes, yeah. So we would like to have some system that will allow us to stop the vehicles without like physical interventions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so even blocking something on tires is not the mechanism which you're looking for.
Yes, Azra, would you like to add something?
Yes, just fully agree with Nina just mentioned. We are still working on to define the requirements, the technical requirements, because this is also a part of it, what we are doing right now. When we engage with markets, with you, with your technologies, if we collect all the information through RFI questionnaire, then we will have a better idea what is currently the markets offering, the companies are offering, and how this is addressing or not addressing to the challenge that we are looking for a solution. So that is why when you say, if you have currently spikes that currently available in the market, simply we can also just go buy them. But now we are looking for innovative, more maybe R&D needed solution. So how to decide this? If you could still your input to the RFA questionnaire is still so important. If you still think that, okay, my solution is just spike and I'm just remotely putting in the road and that's how stop the car, and probably they already know it, so I don't need to submit the answer. We still kindly ask and encourage you to fill the questionnaire, give us the information about your technology. So this could be somehow important to some functionalities that we are going to define in the upcoming weeks.
Okay, great. That's clear. Yeah, that was my earlier question in the chat. Also, that you could only mention one TRL. So if you have existing products which are already, which can stop vehicles, they are ready for TRL 9. But we are already started development to make something new. So it's better than to downscale it in the RFI and show that what is the development about and how it might be be a fit. Okay,
Yes.
thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I also see that Sergiusz has a hand up.
Yeah. So thank you for the presentation, first of all. I have some questions. First, are you able to send the presentation at the end of the meeting so we can do it after?
Yes. So the recording from the session will be uploaded on the website, and I will send you the link to the recording plus the presentation to all the participants.
Okay, cool. So I have a question pertaining to like the use case of the solution. Are you guys really looking for something fully autonomous? Or it's because I have a question actually that's leading up to this question after that. But is it like 100% autonomous solution you guys looking for, or semi-autonomous?
So we would like to still leave some room for the technology, for the law enforcement to make the final decision. So it would not be like fully autonomous, but giving them the ability to make the final decision. But once again, it will be further decided when we'll be preparing the complete list of the requirements, because these things are still being analyzed. We're checking with the end users what they need. And so this is still in the process, but the main focus is for the solutions to be approved by the law enforcement agencies before they're like in use. Asra, you would like to add something?
Actually, you covered all the points. Thank you so much, Nina. If you could review briefly, I know it's not relevant to your business if you're a technology provider, but if you click the link for end users, we're also asking exactly this question and a few more questions to them. If they want fully autonomous or like half autonomous or half manual control, things like that. So this is also a part of this market study. That's a very good point to raise. And this is also something that we are working on.
Okay, yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm asking is because it's not really possible to have a fully autonomous solution in the real world, because otherwise we as the suppliers open up the ability for us, to be sued, right? So there has to be a human in the loop. The officer has to confirm the countermeasures. Otherwise, we're the ones that are essentially gonna be screwed at the end, right? Like the officer has to make the decision. I mean, with my partners as well, there's something we discussed. If there's no human in the loop, you really just leave the room open for any error for our side. And then if there is an actual error that happens, we will have to be the ones that really take the blame for it. And there essentially, there can't be a fully autonomous scope. Like a semi-autonomous, yes, fully up on really tap to launch the countermeasure, I think. So that's kind of the conclusion I reached.
Yeah, so the idea would be even for the solution, it will be semi-autonomous to detect the risky behavior of a car, but then the decision whether to stop it or not using the solution will lie in the hands of the law enforcement.
Okay, yeah, that's good. And last question. So solutions for officer safety and all that, you guys are also going to consider, because it's like indirectly part of the use case scope. Because I know you told me once that there will be like a portfolio that police can look at, even if that solution is not exactly that solution, but it's still of relevant use case that they can still consider for their daily duties.
Yeah, so as you saw, for the portfolio of the security like technologies that we had the call for interest that I saw that you also participated in. So we have a list of all the technology providers who participated in those, and these results will be shared with the law enforcement agencies that are gathered in the project, and they can have a look on it and see what is available. But also for the list of requirements that we provided within the INTERCEPT project, for each of the use cases, there are the requirements not only for stopping the vehicle remotely, but also for detecting for communication. There was a long list, like what we are looking on before the incident happens, after the incident happens, on environmental requirements. And this list is also not closed. We'll be asking during the main event to the technology providers and also to the end users if they see some other requirements, functionalities that would be worth considering. So this is the time to say, like, yeah, for example, it would be worth considering this and this functionalities, such as ensuring the safety of the law enforcement agencies.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you for the questions. Does anyone else has a question?
Yeah, sorry, Thomas
Okay,
here.
yeah.
One more question,
Sure.
if that's okay.
Sure.
There were some existing systems how to stop vehicles in general, or how to track vehicles. I saw in the document. We have some other systems, or we deliver some systems as well. Would you like to receive more like these systems of existing products in the market to be added? And do you need different RFI fill-ins for that?
If I may, yes, it could still be relevant because as I said, this is still an ongoing study. We are still defining the requirements. We're still deciding, working on decide the final challenge, the common challenge and common use case. So for that reason, that's technologies, the existing technologies or solutions that you mentioned could still be relevant for us to decide.
Okay, and then we just apply one more time with another system. Is that correct?
Again, please, couldn't hear you.
Do we then need to apply the RFI with like a second time to at the other system? Because it's another manufacturer from another country, which we represent as a distributor.
Yes, you can. Yeah. First of all, RFI is not actually an application. It's just a form to collect information. So the ideal is that, of course, one organization submits one time and we collect information from the organization. But if you think that you could still add more and you cannot go back to draft, or you wish to submit the responses in another perspective, even though you're the same person, but from the point of another organization, this is still possible because we have flexibility here. And at the end of the process, of course, we will refine all the answers and categorize the organizations and understand the link in between them. If you could make it easy for us in the answers that which is linked to which one, then yeah, there is no problem.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, I see that Sergiusz, you still have your hand risen. Do you have any other questions?
Oh, no, sorry, I forgot to turn off. My bad.
Yeah, okay, no worries. Thank you very much for the questions. It's good to see interest in the project and in the activities that we are doing. If something else comes to your mind, just don't hesitate to ask us via emails and we'll be happy to respond. And if there are no further questions, thank you very much for today, for your time, and for participating in the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you very much.